I've just finished a week of training in the ON Cloudsurfer Max, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my very honest feedback on this Max Stack Daily Trainer. Right guys, so I spent the last week in this shoe pretty much. Obviously I've done a few other sessions that I've not been in this shoe, but we've got enough miles now in this shoe to sort of give you an overview, give you my thoughts on it. But what is this shoe? So this is On Running's Max Stack Daily Trainer, and this is built on the sort of frame of the Cloudsurfer 2. This features the Cloud Phase tech in here. We'll come on to that in just a bit. But yes, this is a Max Stack Daily Trainer from the guys at On. I want you to think of like the Saucony Hurricane 25, that kind of thing. So how this video is going to work, we're going to talk about the stats and features, what's new on here. This basically replaces the Eclipse in the lineup, so we're going to go through that. I'm going to let you know how I found the shoe over the last week and a bit. We're going to talk about rotation, how it probably fits into your rotation, and then at the end I'm going to give you a very honest assessment. Now before we get into the stats and features, I do want to give the guys at sportshoes.com a bit of a shout out. They were kind enough to send this shoe over to me for the purpose of review. Now if you're a 40 Runs Running Club affiliated member, you can get 15% off shoes like this. You just got to go over to 40runs.com, but I say there's all the details in the description, so check that out. Right, let's do the stats and features. So the On Cloudsurfer Max replaces the Cloud Eclipse in the lineup. It's £170 and it has a 37mm stack in the heel down to 31. That's a 6mm drop. Hopefully you'll work that out. We've got the Cloud Tech Phase in here, which is the technology. I'll show you that in just a bit. It's probably easier to explain when I show you it. We do have a slightly softer layer, let's say, of the Helion foam that's in this shoe. We've got a nice engineered mesh on here. We've got a nice knitted tongue as well, which is gusseted, so the fit really nice. Classic outsole from On Running. It weighs even 308 grams in my UK 9.5. It fits true to size. And most importantly, there's been no squeaking. So annoyingly, On Running shoes tend to squeak. And I've got a pair of Cloud Monster 2s that I've actually stopped even wearing casually because the damn thing squeaks so much. But apparently, this thing has got some cool tech in it that they've tweaked in terms of the Cloud Phasey bits, so you won't get that. And after running in them for the last week and a bit, I can't say I've noticed any squeaking, which is good news. So let's take a closer look, shall we? There's some lovely detailing here with the eyelets. They've done a cracking job on that. Although this bit here and this bit here is a bit annoying. There's our outsole with this cutaway in the middle to try and save some weight, even though this is still over 300 grams. They have tried to reduce the weight. There's the Cloud Phase tech, so this is slightly angled, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a sec. Comfort's really nice. We've got Swiss engineering in here. There's a profile shot of it. I think it looks cracking in this colorway. We've got the Helion foam. Please tell me how to pronounce that in the comments. It's a nice wide stable platform. That's probably about it. Okay, so these Cloud Phase, right? So they're angled like this, yeah? And what the idea of this is that they sort of collapse as you go through your stride. So it's almost like a domino effect. That's how I want you to envisage it. So as you go through, they collapse and spring back and help you with that ride. That's the idea of them. Personally, I felt no difference between this and another sort of Brooks running shoe in terms of the feel of the midsole. All these cutouts and stuff like that, I can't feel any difference between a normal shoe. And I'm saying that in a positive way. What I'm saying is you might be worried about, oh, this might feel a bit weird. It doesn't. The other thing which I didn't mention is there's no speed board in here, which is good news. So I've used this shoe as you'd expect in my daily miles. Please go and follow me on Strava and you can see all the stuff that I'm running. But yeah, it's just picked up the load as you'd expect. Now onto that ride. It's a lot firmer than I was expecting. I actually thought when I first got them, oh, this will be all right, it'll break in, but it's not. I don't know what the mileage is on them. It's got to be 25 miles, maybe more towards 30. I'm not 100% sure, but the point is that it's not broken in yet. Maybe it will do after 50 miles, okay? So we will report back on this shoe. I will do a performance review on the shoe, but at the moment it's firmer than I was expecting. I mean, a lot firmer than I was expecting. This has apparently got a softer layer of Helion foam in it, but can't say I noticed it. And that is a problem because the ride is not very inspiring. It's not the most energetic thing. It just feels a little bit lifeless versus the other shoes that are out there. And again, I go back to my point about the Saucony Hurricane 25. That's got a layer of PB foam running through it. And it just feels a lot more smoother, a little bit more softer. And that's got an EVA frame around the shoe, but it just feels a little bit, yeah, a little bit more spruced up versus this. So the ride's a bit of a disappointment on this shoe for me. And that's somebody who's come out of the Vomero Plus and gone into this. So maybe I'm being a little bit unfair on the shoe, but it just feels, like I said, a little bit too firm for me. Now that's not necessarily an overly bad thing, because if you prefer a firmer ride, then this may work for you. Now the shoe is also heavy, 307 gram with only 37 millimeters of stack, and you can feel that on foot. Now in terms of a rotation, this would slot in. You'd have this as your sort of, yeah, those easy miles. I wouldn't do any pace work in this shoe at all, but you'd have this, and then you'd have something, I don't know, Evo SL for those up-tempo workouts, and then whether you'd have like a super trainer for, you know, those faster, longer miles or whatever, race day, that sort of thing. I'm just thinking of like a Zoom Fly 6 from Nike. That would fit in well with this, so that, and then the Evo SL. This would work in sort of in the middle of those two. But let's get on to the likes and dislikes. I like the way the shoe looks. I like the quality of the shoe. It's £170. On are a premium brand, but I like the detailing they've done. I like the step-in feel of the shoe. It just feels a little bit, well, quality versus some of the other shoes that you can get out there. I'm thinking, for example, the Brooks Ghost Max 3, which I like a lot, but it just feels a lot more quality than that shoe. I like the lacing. I like the outsole. I like the fit. And like I said, I like the step-in feel and the overall comfort of it. Dislikes. I don't like the ride. I don't see the point of these things. I know they're trying to stand out, but I think it's not working. I'm not overly fussed about Helion or Helion foam. And these things are a bit annoying. They don't rub, but you can feel them. So they're trying to make the shoe awesome with this nice detailing here, but actually this just doesn't work. I don't like £170, and I don't like 307 grams for a shoe that's only 37 millimeters in stack. Let's wrap this up. So firstly, if you like on-running shoes, which I totally understand because they do make some good shoes apparently, then you're gonna like this, all right? There's no problem there. I think this whole setup and whatnot, you know, the feeling of the firmness and all that kind of thing, the cloud phase, that's going to be your thing, then you're going to like this shoe. I can kind of live with, and I can't believe I'm saying it, £170 because On are that sort of premium brand into lifestyle, so I can kind of see where that price point is coming from. For example, Saucony Hurricane 25 without my discount at sportshoes.com is £160 odd as well. So in a strange way, I can kind of let them off for that. But the overall issue with this shoe is the foam, right? This Helion foam, it needs something cool happening to it. When I see what the other brands are doing with their midsole compounds, this is sort of being like left behind. They need to do something cool. They've got, you know, great ideas with this sort of cloud phase technology and all that kind of stuff. They're obviously trying to innovate, which is really awesome, but this foam just doesn't work. When you compare it to other foams out there, like I said, even the Ghost Max 3 from Brooks is a much better foam in here, and that's like, you know, all right, it's injected EVA, but it's a better foam compound than what we have here. So I think On need to go back to the drawing board in terms of their foams, and maybe they're going to come with something really awesome. And I hope they do, because there's obviously a market out there because everybody wears these shoes, right? But for me as a runner, this is more into, again, into that lifestyle, which is fine. And I think for that person who likes On running shoes, you're going to like this. But as an everyday runner, as a person out there who's like trying to get better, I'm trying to run, you know, better times, trying to get fitter and all that sort of stuff. I want a shoe that's going to work with me, that's going to make me feel awesome, that's going to, you know, give me that really fun ride when I'm out there, an enjoyable ride when I'm out there. I'd much rather be, for example, in the Evo SL than this at £130. Now, you might say that's not comparable because, you know, for whatever reason, yeah, but it's just a much better shoe to be in than this. And that's mainly down to the foam, and that's where I go back to my point. We need to do something about this foam On. So please sort that out and then come back with a max stacked daily trainer with something new and something awesome in it. But there we go, team. That's my honest assessment of the Cloudsurfer Max. Yeah, if you're looking for a max stacked shoe, I think there's others out there. Go and check out the Vomero Plus. You can get all these shoes at sportshoes.com. Don't forget to join as a 40 Runs Running Club affiliated member, because you're going to get 15% off at sportshoes.com. Head over to 40runs.com or just go in the description. It's all down there. If you're free on a Monday at 8 o'clock, come and join me on the live stream. I answer all coaching questions, shoe questions, whatever you want to talk about. So come and join me at 8 o'clock on a Monday. If you found this video to be of any value, hit that subscribe button. But that's it from me, team. I shall catch you all later.